Good morning. I'm Kevin Walker, Senior Vice President of Public Policy for the Overland Park Chamber of Commerce. With me today is Paul Snider, a candidate for Johnson County Community College Board of Trustees. Today we're going to spend some time getting to know Paul and learn about his candidacy and the priorities he has if elected to the Board of Trustees. Paul, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate everything the Chamber does to keep people engaged and educated as we get into election season.
Well, thank you. Let's start and just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this position.
Sure. I grew up in Overland Park, graduate of Mission South. I've always lived in Johnson County except for when I went off to college. Professionally, I do work in Topeka, but I've always been based here in Johnson County and tried to get involved in our community. I was on the Johnson County Parks and Rec District Board for a number of years. Also served on the United Community Services Board of Johnson County. Some of those attributes helped me get prepared to run, and that's what I've been doing since 2017. I was first elected in 2017, and now I'm vice chair of the board, and so deeply involved with everything about the college.
Well, we appreciate your commitment to the community, and why don't we turn our attention to some questions?
Sure.
What would be your top three agenda priorities as trustees and how you would work towards the betterment of the college and the education it provides?
Well, I think at a threshold level, what I'm trying to do is just be a balanced, commonplace, forward-looking thinker on the board, be collaborative with the rest of the board. At the end of the day, what we need to do is preserve the legacy of Johnson County Community College and move it forward. Specific to actual priorities would be to improve student success. We know that students get into college and some of them do better than others. So we're trying to look at some of those barriers to success so that everyone has an equal playing field and pathway going forward. I think we need to enhance our workforce development opportunities, particularly now with so many struggles with employers finding qualified workers. It's really imperative that the college step up what we're doing, partner with businesses to make sure we're meeting the demands of the community. And then third, I'm interested in sustainability, and the college has been such a leader with sustainability. I think we need to continue that.
And with respect to paying for the cost of educating the college's students, where do you stand regarding tuition increases versus mill levy increases, and what's the appropriate way to balance those interests?
There definitely needs to be a mix. Ideally, the college would be funded with about 50% local support, and that comes through property taxes, about 25% from the state and 25% from tuition, from student fees. That balance isn't achieved right now. Right now we're at 67% dependence on property taxes, which I think is too high, and we're at about 17% for tuition. Our tuition currently is set at $94 a credit hour, which is very competitive. We're one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in the state. So we do need to probably take a look at that. We haven't raised it in 3 or 4 years. I think it's at the right place, but I think we also have some cushion. We can raise it and still be very affordable and competitive in the market.
You've touched on this a little bit, but Kansas is experiencing low unemployment rates, and employers are struggling to find qualified workers, especially in the skilled and technical trades. What role should Johnson County Community College play with regard to workforce development locally and statewide?
Well, I think we really need to be a central player in that, coordinating with businesses. We do that now. We have a number of advisory committees where we get input to make sure we're teaching the right things to our students so that they can be integrated into the workforce. But I think, as I said earlier, we need to step that up a bit. It's such a challenge right now, and the college actually has great assets to try to move that forward. Regarding career and technical education, we have a new building that was opened 2 years ago that greatly expanded our capacity to work on electrical engineering, HVAC services, plumbing, and then also we expanded our welding center and our automotive center. So we've got state-of-the-art facilities for our students to use, and so I think we're positioned well for the future.
And what do you see as the key aspects of Johnson County Community College's coordination with high schools, universities, and other post-secondary educational institutions?
Well, I'll focus on the high school level. I have a daughter that just went to KU, and in high school she had the good fortune to take multiple hours of college credit concurrently through our College Now program, which is a tremendous benefit to any of the high school juniors and seniors in Johnson County, one that's not easily replicated throughout the state. So we need to continue to make those available. We are trying to work with some of our faculty and curriculum setting to make sure that all students have the opportunity to take College Now classes and can meet the prerequisites that some of those require. And it's not just based on sole test taking as a placement mechanism, but having a high GPA and working with high school teachers to know that those students can succeed, because we'd hate for someone to be left behind just because they didn't do well on a placement test. Again, it's such an opportunity for high school students at an affordable rate to get some college credit and get on their pathway.
And looking ahead into the future, what is your vision for the college 10 years from now?
I think one of the things we need to overcome is to get our enrollment growing again. We've had some declines the last 10 years, and so we need to get that back up to where we're a destination of preference for students all around. I think some of the continued talk about college promise opportunities, affordable education pathways, whether that comes from the federal government or state government, those opportunities are great, and so hopefully we can use that as an engine to keep going. But at the end of 10 years, we certainly need the community college to continue its stature in the community, continue to be a leader for students in the community, for cultural opportunities and everything in between.
And my last question is why do you believe you are uniquely qualified to serve on the Johnson County Community College Board of Trustees, and why are you seeking this office?
So I'm qualified mostly because I've been doing it for 4 years. I'm currently the vice chair, which I've been this year and last year. I want to continue what I've been doing. I first ran in 2017, and one of the reasons I ran was because I've been ingrained in the community. I'm active with different chambers. I really understand the business perspective of that. Plus I do state policy work for a living in Topeka, so I understand those perspectives too. At the end of the day, I want to be a good government person and really make the workings of the college efficient and affordable for the community.
Wonderful. And Paul, I appreciate you spending some time with us today. Before we close, are there any final thoughts you want to offer?
Well, I think I was elected in 2017 because people knew that I had a background in the community. I think it's always important when someone's running for something as important as a community college to have some grounding in the community, some base to work from. And I think from my service on the UCS board and with Forward OP, I was a steering member for Forward OP, also on the Johnson County Parks and Rec District Board. That gave me a foundation and understanding of what makes the community work. And the community college is one of those key things that does make the whole community work, and I want to continue that.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for participating in the interview, and to the voters out there, just a reminder that advance voting by mail begins on Wednesday, October 13th. Advance voting in person begins on Saturday, October 23rd. And of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 2nd.